Hey friends, welcome to week 64, and let me stretch over and get my stats. I'm doing this from my car because I just want to take a little break from work. It's like really sunny outside, but it's super cold, and I did not bring my jacket. Hopefully the heater is not loud enough that you can't hear me, but it has been a crazy week. So first, my stats. Kind of a small loss, but given like everything that happened, I'm all right with it. So I'm down 0.4 pounds, down 86.6 pounds since surgery, and down 109.6 pounds from my highest weight. So Monday of this week, I had mentioned to y'all that I was going to do a podcast, and so Monday of this week I went to New York and took the train up, and I'm gonna put in a photo right here of my non-scale victory. So as you can see, I was sitting on public transportation, which was the Amtrak train, with my legs crossed. So that was cool. It wasn't like, I mean, especially with the train, there's no like seatbelt or armrest. I mean, obviously I could fit in a seat before, but you know, it wasn't as comfortable as it is now. And still being public transportation, it's not like it's super comfortable to begin with. But yeah, so it's just like those like little types of things. So yeah, I went out Monday night, hung out with a friend, and then Tuesday I did a podcast with my friend Michael Malice, and I'll put a link to the podcast down below. So far it has, I think, 6,000 views so far as of this recording. And I had mentioned in my video last week that there were going to be some like silly things that he was going to do, and I already knew about them. And you can tell from the comments that maybe people didn't know that I was going to be in on the joke ahead of time. And you know, jokes are subjective, so you might not find it funny. Some people found it funny for a little while and then thought it got old. Some people thought it was cruel. I think that's a little much, particularly because, you know, people drink in front of alcoholics and people, I don't know, I just thought maybe it's more of like a, I'm taking it more internal, like if people were offended. Okay, so basically the joke was, while he was interviewing me about my weight loss journey and background and all that kind of stuff, he was eating junk food and being like kind of sloppy about it just to be funny. I mean, he's not a comedian, but he's like he's a funny guy. And I think the podcast network that originally ran on live has a lot of comedians or funny people. I know that sounds so dumb. Funny people. But anyway, so I think he wanted to lighten up the topic with, you know, his bit. And I know this sounds really dumb because it's really hard to explain a joke. Either it's funny or it's not. I actually thought it was funny. And my role was to play like the straight man and not comment, which I didn't. And just sort of act like it was a regular interview. And given his audience, I actually think it was fine because it made like a very heavy topic like a little lighter. So yeah, I mean, if you don't like the joke, I mean, don't be offended. I know that's weird to say, but it's not a reflection of like, oh, this guy's a bad person. You know, sometimes jokes don't hit with everyone, and you know, that might have been the case here with lots of people, but I think probably a majority of his viewership thought it was funny. And if they could focus on him instead of me, that works for me too. So anyway, I'll put a link below. But yeah, I was kind of nervous about it. I think there are a lot of subjects that we didn't get to cover. I didn't particularly want to talk about my childhood that much. But, you know, it's fine. I mean, that's why I have this channel, so I can talk about what I want to talk about. So I understand, like, someone like Michael who did not grow up overweight or obese, or, you know, hasn't had that experience. I mean, that's what his questions were about. You know, it wasn't about the journey that I'm going through, because he doesn't need that information or maybe is not interested in it. Or didn't think his viewers would be. But it was still a really good interview, and it was really fun. You know, like I said, he's a friend, so it's easy to joke around with him, easy to talk to him. And it's funny because I did his show several years ago when one of my books came out, and just his personality, he like interrupts a lot. And I told him that it was kind of funny this time around because the snacks and junk food that he was eating were sort of keeping him occupied. I felt like I could talk more. So it worked out fine for me. And, you know, to the people that think like it's super cruel, like that he was eating in front of me, like, I'm not. Number one, the food was not good. I mean, it was like deviled ham, like grocery store, or like not grocery store, convenience store disgusting food. So like canned deviled ham, like bacon flavored Ritz, I'm trying to remember, ring pops. He made a Nutella sandwich for some reason. I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess it's a thing. So like on the first level, it was like not even good food, not like where I was like, oh, that smells really good, I wish I had some, or, you know, something like that. On a second level, you know, I was busy thinking about what I was going to say and the message that I wanted to get out. You know, I'm not an animal. Like, I can control myself, especially during a time when I'm in public. And, you know, I don't know if it's like a stereotype that people think, you know, I mean, I'm sure most of y'all who have gone through this know that it's actually pretty easy to go all throughout the day without eating, or like eating a normal amount, especially if you're in front of people. The hard part is when you're alone and, you know, unaccountable to someone. Or at least, oh man, they just put down a bunch of salt. You know what that means. It's gonna snow or ice tomorrow. Ugh. Alright. Anyway. So, I don't know, maybe I'm just like reading too much into the comments. Like, I shouldn't do that, especially on YouTube. So, that was Monday and Tuesday. So basically I was traveling, back to like my stats and all that stuff. So that was Monday and Tuesday. So I was traveling. I brought a protein bar for the train ride back. And on the train ride there, I got Chick-fil-A nuggets. And then for dinner, I had a protein bar. And then breakfast the next day, I ordered room service, but it was, you know, like healthy. It was just like super overpriced because it was room service, but there was an issue with my room and they actually gave me my $50 breakfast for free. And then for lunch that day, oh wait, no, I didn't eat lunch. And then I got home for dinner. And I had something like healthy-ish. But yeah, I like to be able to plan and, you know, plan out my meals and all of that kind of stuff. And then on top of the travel, it's my time of the month, so I'm expecting like a pretty big loss next week. By which I mean like 1 to 2 pounds. Rather than like my piddly like 0.4 pounds today or this week. So that is about it. I'm gonna go back into work. Like I said, I'll put the link below. And there's, I don't know, I feel like I should give a trigger warning, even though I wrote like a book basically about how I hate trigger warnings and like all of that phrasing. But just keep in mind that Michael Malice, in this interview, you know, there's a lot of joking, a lot of using the word fat, heavy, all of those types of things. And he is, you know, a good person and was certainly not disparaging me, but just, you know, making light of what was a heavy topic, I think, just to make it more palatable for, you know, everyone else that thought, you know, oh, this is gonna be like a boring, serious, heavy interview. And so in the end, you know, he's right, because it ended up getting, at least so far, 6,000 views, and a couple followers for me. I wasn't expecting like a huge Twitter or YouTube following from it, just because, you know, these updates are not for everyone. I mean, it's more for people that are on this journey, or, you know, want to learn more about it and all of that kind of stuff. But I will tell y'all, two of my goals for 2020, one of them is to get over 1,000 YouTube followers, and one of them is to get over 1,000 Instagram followers. So I'll put my Instagram down below. And that's just because I think I've mentioned to y'all that I come from a political background, and I'm just trying to like increase my cred in the non-political world, since you know, I'm now doing writing and other things on that end. So that is all for this week. I will leave all the links below, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.